go. What's up, man?
Woo!
Woo!
What's up, dude?
Big Sma in the house, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I'm on the porch right now. I'm not in the house.
Dude, you're on the porch at your new place. You have a new
That's
place.
Right. Yeah. Chilling at my new place in East Nashville, which is, of course, on the north side of town. Yeah, like you can see inside there. There's a little Breaking Bad. Oh, that's
Hey,
you.
it's
No,
me.
that's you.
What?
There's some like Breaking Bad going on inside, and my roommate Snow and Christina somewhere in there too.
You are married.
Yeah, so I'm definitely knock before I go back in.
They're back from their honeymoon. Yeah.
Mhm.
They got married like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think almost 3 weeks ago. It's been good. Like marriage is tough. Like I knew that going into it, but it's so much more like satisfying that way. I feel like I've learned just so much just in these like last 2.5 weeks about being married. It's been a really really cool experience.
It's I mean, it's not going to be perfect, No one ever
And that's
promised
what you
that.
always expect it to be perfect,
Mhm.
And then I show up and now they're married, and it's not what I thought it was going to be like, but really just grown so much closer to them since they've been married that
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade these days for anything.
Honestly, it's like shout out to Hannah Hall because like we can always look back on those pictures and like when we're going through hard times, we can remember like this is what it was like. You know what I mean? Like this is a perfect picture of perfection. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. People always like are like talking about their wedding photos and they like look back. They can look back. It's like a perfect moment.
Yeah, they captured it so perfectly. They captured our love just right.
Dude, that's actually crazy. That's actually crazy that you live with a married couple. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been really fun so far.
That's awesome. I'm sad you weren't at their social distanced outdoor wedding reception. There was a small
Yeah,
group of us that got to go out there, but you were actually at a different wedding
I was at a
in
different
New
socially
England.
distant small wedding, New Hampshire. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, which is great. So like, get to like reap the best parts of being. Dude, we have so much new stuff in this house now.
Oh,
It's like
really?
there's like a Ninja blender. Um,
Oh,
there's like a vacuum cleaner. There's like paper towels. Like it's crazy. Like so much stuff you just get after being married. Like
man,
there's like a
that's cool.
TV. There's like AC now. Like it's awesome.
Oh yeah, y'all didn't have a TV last time. I've come to your house one time, and y'all were still. Christina didn't live there yet because she didn't move in till they were married. So it was pretty slim when I came over. There wasn't really a
Yeah,
living room yet, I don't think.
bare bones. No, we like she had all the furniture, so we just had like an empty room. And then one day she gave us the go ahead, and we went over to her old house, stole their entire living room, and then transplanted it to our living room,
Oh, are you
which was a
serious?
kind of fun feeling. Yeah, we just left them high and dry. Poor kids.
Wait, from her old house where we played like your birthday party?
Yeah. Sorry, Alyssa and Olivia.
I think
But
they moved out too.
sorry.
Or something. I think they live somewhere new, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, everything's
Um,
changing.
dude, why live? So you, me, and S. Grant Parker all been living with our families, but now you and Grant just recently, I think Grant literally might have just within the last day or two moved into a new place,
Yeah,
like
I think
left his
so.
parents' house. I saw something on his story, um, which is crazy. What like I don't know. Is there a reason what made you want to move out and not live the home life forever until like we all do that because we all tour so much and it's just like
Yeah,
makes it easier because you don't want to pay rent when you're gone for 2 months.
yeah,
Were you just
totally.
like, man, did you move after the pandemic? You were like, this is gonna be going for a while. Let's just get a place, or were you just sick
Yeah.
of something? I don't know.
It was really like I like I was kind of like you. Like I was like, okay, I can enjoy the parents' vibe. Like while I'm not on tour, like have some meals, like sleep in my childhood bed, not pay for rent, and then go like have time of my life for a few weeks. It's like, yeah, that's great. And then like COVID stuff, I wasn't working for like a month or so, and then I got a job over here on the east side at like the beginning of May. And so I was like commuting for like a month and a half. And really like when that was like all I was doing was going to work, it just like didn't.
Wow.
I don't know, just kind of like I felt like I was spread out all over the place all the time, and like getting to be over here now. Like my one thing in like finding a new place was like I want to be able to walk to my work, and be able to just like not drive every day if I want to. And so being able to do that, been doing that for the last few weeks.
Cool.
Which is just awesome. Like if I could recommend anything to anybody, like if you can just walk to work every day, I feel like I meditate for like an hour there and back.
Whoa.
And
are you on your
just
phone?
like puts me. Nah, I try not to be.
No
so
music?
I like listen to music. I listen to music sometimes, or like an audiobook,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm really digging it. But today I was just like walking by myself, and it's like it's crazy. Like when you take the stuff away, you know, like when you take the distraction away, like I always think I'm gonna be bored or something.
Yeah.
Like this just in all life, and I'm always surprised by something that I was expecting, and I like see something that I wouldn't have noticed, or like have the time to just like stop and like let things happen. I don't know. That's just been like a really positive part of the last 2 weeks for me, is getting to like actually feel the process of like getting to my place of employment and then coming back to my place of residence.
That's cool. Wow. I didn't realize you were
Yeah.
that close to that place either. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rocking.
Are you?
It's a couple miles away.
I can't remember. You're working in like some sort of woodworking.
Yeah, I'm working in a carpentry shop. We make art pieces from torn down Nashville homes.
Whoa.
So yeah,
That's
super
sick.
hip, super cool. But I just get
It
to
is
like,
hip.
yeah, make little like puzzles all day with this wood and be really meticulous. Listen to audiobooks. You know about free audiobooks, Freeze?
Oh yeah. We talking about the Libby app?
Yes, dude. Okay, you're on it.
Dude, yes, pretty recently, within the last like month, I think I got turned on to it. It has changed my life, dude. I've been reading more this summer than ever.
Yeah.
And now like getting to listen to books too. I'm actually like kind of burnt out halfway through Pride and Prejudice right now.
Yeah, dude. Are you listening to it or reading it?
I am. So that one actually I'm doing through LibriVox. So it's a dramatized reading. So like all the different characters. So it is like very fun. It's just incredibly long, and the plot and it's just the whole thing is a little bit trivial intentionally. You know, it's about like pompous people doing living their boring lives. But it's like I don't know. I'm frustrated with myself because I was doing pretty good. I had my hottest streak of my whole life. I read a bunch of books in a row. I was like, boom, I'm unstoppable. And then I was stopped. And now I'm trying to.
Yeah, by your own pride.
By my own pride.
And prejudice or something.
Something like that.
I think you can definitely turn that story, make it like self-evident or something.
Yes, dude. I totally can. That's actually what I shall do. Thank you for helping me with that.
But all you listeners out there, the Libby app is how you can get free audiobooks through the public library. They have like Nashville Public Library has it. I assume places in Tennessee. You just get this app and then you like check books out and you have them for like 2 weeks. And if it's popular, there's like a hold, but you don't want to read what everyone else is reading. So definitely get that freaking app if you don't have it yet.
Yeah, if you're trying to read Michelle Obama's new book or White Fragility,
it's like a 60-week hold or something.
Yeah, it's like available 2023.
Dude, isn't it kind of crazy though? Like, because I always think about like information is like something that I like have all access to now. But like, if I want like sustained information in the form of a book, like I can either pay Jeff Bezos to give it to me, or like if it's really popular, I can't get it from even the library because other people want it. And it's like, even if we all want to learn something at once, like we either have to pay Jeff Bezos or wait in line, which that I just had never realized that information worked like that, you know?
Okay, wow. Yeah, wow. Right, because if we could all get it from the library, then Jeff Bezos would throw a fit. So we have to like appease capitalism or whatever.
But why, like books especially, like why do we ever have to buy books? Like why can't they all be like everyone's shared property?
Yeah, I don't know, especially like with the way streaming works now, where every like basically music artists have just like had to surrender and just be like, here's all of my music. I will make $20 this month. Just please like maybe like put it on a playlist. And then but with books they're like I guess they're a little bit more stingy still for some reason. People are like, oh, you should buy my book, which makes sense. I guess I don't know. I would love for people to buy my music, but maybe that's a false equivalency. I guess going on a book tour is probably harder. Although I've heard Michelle Obama is selling out was selling out like arenas. So
Michelle Obama has always been selling out, dude.
Oh snap, dude.
Oh!
The first political comment of a Fun Zone.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
The Fun Zone.
Yeah, this is the Fun Zone, man. This is episode 6. I've had to catch you up. I had S. Grant Parker. I had Ella Mine, who just put out her new album, which is crazy. I had Ethan's room.
It is so good, dude. Her album is so
for real
unbelievable.
It's a masterpiece.
It is so moving. Yeah.
What a cool way to like come out of the gates too. Like first album, and it's like getting to launch anywhere from there. It's just gonna be a 180 or I don't know. Unless she does another crazy concept. She told me she's working on writing like man, I always mess it up, but she's working on like writing songs now. She's like gone way more like simple sweet songs. Like she said, she's like, I'm just writing sweet songs right now. I was like, that's so cool. I had Ethan's room on, who's kickstarting his album, and then Jack Thompson, who just finished kickstarting her album, which is going to come out.
She made so much money.
She really did. She took her notes from the arcade.
So great.
You know?
I didn't know that until I heard it on your podcast. Like, that's just so freaking cool.
It is.
And what she's going to do with it, like, I want it in my hands, you know?
Well, she, it's not, you know, I say she took notes from the Arcade Wild because they've kickstarted a lot of money too. And she's been on tour with them, and I feel like she's learned a lot of lessons in self-respect from them that we're always trying to learn too. But
another if only we could learn those lessons.
Yes. But another lesson, like, of just how cool she is and how much she cares, is that the album's not coming out for another year. Like, the estimated release date was like a year from now, and I think that's crazy. Like, that's just a bold move. I would have felt indebted to my fans to be like, okay, thank you for the money. It's coming as soon as possible. Like, we're getting in the studio every day. But she's like, no, like, thank you for the money. I'm going to make the best product possible, like the best art possible, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what you did after your Kickstarter, right?
I turned mine around pretty quick. Like, I think it was released in April, and we finished raising the money for it in like January or February. It was like 2 or 3 month turnaround for Cosmic House. I mean, we recorded like the full band in one day. So yeah, that was crazy. It's also crazy thinking about Cosmic House in relation to Ella's Dream War, because they're both recorded at the Art House.
Yeah. And
they're both like a big epic like record. There's like a little bit of similarity that I think is interesting on those two. Like, I definitely felt like some sort of connection.
Totally. Have you listened to Cosmic House recently?
So I returned back on autoplay on my Spotify. So whenever I'm playing songs, something else happens. Because I found that like one of the best ways to find new music on Spotify now isn't Discover Weekly for me, but it'll just be like putting on a song that I really dig and then it'll just put me on a vibe, and I'm like, wow, I'm learning so much. But when I listened to Fight Song when it came out, like Good Time came on afterwards, and then another time it was like Florida or something, and it was just weird hearing it in that context. Like I hadn't thought about the music in a while, and I was like, wow, there are probably a lot of people who just like are like, oh, here's Freeze's music, and then they're like, here's Fight Song, here's Good Time. These are both Freeze, but to me, it's like two separate universes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm beginning to fall back in love with space travel and Cosmic House. I think a little bit more. Like I'm beginning to be able to be like at peace with the things I don't like, and really like them for what they are. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I have to put some trumpet on something you put out in the next like collection.
Right.
I can't like we just need to like hide it somewhere. Yeah. Got to make sure we sneak it in.
We could do some trumpet, man. I think there's room for it.
There's definitely some room.
Have you heard the new songs?
Johnny only sent me the Crazy Baby Love Text.
Okay, dude, we got to send the rest of those to you. So
yeah,
I haven't really taken many steps forward since that session, but yeah, basically for those listening, we did a session while Sma was out of town, sadly. He thought he was going to be able to make it, but
very convenient timing.
Whatever.
Nah, it's okay. I went off the map. It's okay.
You did go off the map. Dude, man, recently, on this last tour, Sma started going off the map more than ever before. I remember you literally, like, I remember in Charleston after our show, I was just like, where's Sma? And they were like, oh, he left with some people. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, it's cool. I have his location. And I pulled up your location, and it was in the van. And I was like, dude, he doesn't take his phone with him anymore. Like, I'll never see Sma again. Like, I was just pretty sure one of these things you were just gonna no longer be on tour.
Dude, yeah, in like South Carolina, there were like 3 nights where I was hoping to find you again somehow the next day.
You left your phone at Mackenzie's house, so you didn't even have a phone for a few days because you left.
Yeah, I should have left it. I should have never let it come back.
Yeah, fortunately, you got it back when we all met up in Columbia, but you almost didn't have a phone ever again.
It's just, I can't imagine the level I'd be on if I had escaped it. I mean, that was, so, like, I had, to tell the story, I lost my phone on tour. I, like, left it in a city, and we, like, left there, and then I realized later. I'm kind of spent this whole week, like, thinking that I might run back into it somehow, like someone might figure out how to get it to me. And then like 7 days later, I like had this just epiphany of just beauty that had come into my life from never having to worry about like the brain in my pocket, and just was seeing so many things and like appreciating so much more. And I was just like free. I just like felt the freedom. And I was like, that's when I had the like the ring thing. That's when I got on that big time. Like the got really into Lord of the Rings recently, and when I realized how freeing it was to like have gotten rid of my phone, I was like, this is like exactly what the ring is. This is the kinds of like
right.
The same struggle. It's like this thing that is more powerful than I am and gives me access to something like greater than myself. And it's like allowing me to like have more and more power and like access to the things that I want, and allowing me to like actualize how I see myself. But in return, it's addicting me to it, and it's forcing me to continue to use it. And it's turning me to use for its devices. Like, I'm not using it, it's using me, and it's tricking me into thinking it's the other way around.
Wow. Wow, dude, that is crazy. I never thought about it like that. That's almost like
yeah.
It's like social media apps making money like off of like data mining and ads, while we think that we're using these things to help us. And especially when it comes to like being an artist, like especially Facebook and maybe
Yeah.
maybe Instagram. I haven't confirmed this, but I know it's true for Facebook. They like don't let you get the word out about your music unless you pay for ads. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, totally. And it's like, but I got on both of these apps because I thought they would help me be social and make friends and
Hmm.
like do my thing. And now it's like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, another one I think would be dating apps. Like
Oh shoot.
they
Oh
literally
yeah.
they literally just like you if you get on one, it's just like, oh, everybody wants the first day, like everybody on the app wants to meet you. You're like, this rules. And then 3 months later, where are you? Like
Mhm.
you're
And
just
it know
like it's just crazy.
it like knows when like you're not when you've like gotten over it. You're like, oh, that's like I'm not gonna get anything from this. Then you like get some match. It like somehow just exactly knows when to like pull you back in a little bit.
Mm.
It's just mind blowing, dude. I had a realization about dating apps that I don't think I've told you yet.
Oh, what's up?
So this might just be my like friend Emily's idea. I might have stolen it from her, but we're having like a long conversation about dating apps and stuff, and I realized like I'm like I've been using Tinder for like the last few months, but don't use like Instagram anymore. Like trying to avoid Facebook as much as I can. But like dating app, like Tinder was like worth having me for some reason, even though it just like no matches, no relationships or like coming up. It's just like my like time passing, and like realizing that like that's a lot of my exposure to like thinking about my community, you know, and the people that exist around me, and like the people that like I might be interested or might be interested in me. Like there's just a lot of people, and like a lot of people like are lame, and I'm lame to a lot of people, and like people just kind of like losers. And when I'm seeing all these like girls every day, like at the most shallow way that I can see someone, you know, like a picture of them trying to look attractive and tell me something about them that's gonna attract me to them, just like I'm doing.
Right.
It's like exposing myself to like the shallowest part of everybody, and I realize it kind of like has this. I think it has this effect on like my general impression of people, or like the culture I live in, just in like reducing people down to like what their dating profile is, and the fact that I don't see like guys on my profile means that I don't equally think that like guys are losers. You know, I just kind of have this like this cynicism towards like women, and I don't like that at all. And I don't know, like, and it's not like all of that, but it's kind of that sense of like, oh, I know what you're about. Like,
Right.
any way I can be like, I know what kind of person you are. Just like makes me like people less, you know. So that's kind of what I've been chewing on.
I think that really rocks my boat, especially the part where you thinking about the fact that you don't see guys on this app. Like it's not like Instagram where it's like we're all doing our thing. It's like on a dating app, you only like or for us, you know, it would only be like girls on there and you personally, and it's like, well, I'm on there, you know, but I'm a cool guy. And then it's like
Yeah,
you could like maybe begin to have this like misconception that like women act a certain
like
way, but
really
men don't.
broad strokes.
Yeah, right. Just like women are trying to like date people, but the guys I know, they probably aren't, you know. But then it's like, well, then again, I guess a lot of my friends are on dating apps. You know, it's like, but I don't
Yeah,
get to see them. But we're on the same app, but we don't get to see each other. We're like,
right.
that's just crazy.
And it's crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how that could be avoided at all. But
Yeah, right. I don't know either. But I think you might. I think it's something worth noting.
I
That's
guess
really
yeah.
interesting.
Well, it's kind of funny though, because like uh, like we also have like a cultural association with like homosexuality that is like negative for men, you know, like it's like I know we grew up in like a culture where like especially you don't want to like give someone the impression that you're gay, you know, because that's like the mortal offense, like if you're a man in the South.
Yeah.
And like easy like fix that, but oh yeah, I just switched my Tinder profile to bi and I could see all people, but I haven't done that because I'm like scared that someone's gonna think that I'm gay, which is like if that hasn't happened already, then like I don't know what they're looking at. They don't think that about me.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Know, it just like brings. Yeah.
I would also feel bad doing that because then I would be afraid that somebody would like think that about me, and then I'd be like, "Oh, that's not true." Then I would have like led them astray or somehow. I don't know. But that is a good point. If everybody just did that, then
yeah. I think now after I've said that out loud, I don't think there's any way to not do that.
Wow, that would be crazy if that became like a trend. Like if everybody was just like, "We're all doing this." I don't know. I haven't even thought through what I'm saying, but this is interesting.
Yeah, I'm feeling like we're out on the limbs, you know. Get a little shaky here.
We're out on the limb right here. Especially with this. But I don't know. Yeah, right. I had something else to say about that, but I don't remember.
Dude, speaking of limbs, did you know that like trees are alive? They like
I
talk to each
suppose
other?
so. No, I did
Did you know that stuff?
No.
Dude, straight up. I'm just walking in the forest here. I just like read this book. It's called The Hidden Life of Trees. And it like basically in like the last like 20 or something years, they figured out that like trees like talk to each other and have emotions and make decisions. They like plan for the future. They like are aware of each other, and it all like a lot of it's like connected to like it's like a mycelial connection, basically with like fungus that's like in the tree and in the soil that connects them all.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, I lost him. I think we lost him, y'all. He went too far. He went too far astray from his Wi-Fi. We might, I don't know, I've never had this happen before. Maybe I should pause. Let's give him another second. Big Sma, are you with us? All right, let's pause. My man? My man?
What's up, dog?
What's up, dude? We're back. We're back.
Sorry about that. We'll slap it back.
You're all good. I paused it, so I think that will work. I think we will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we don't have to.
Nice job. That's what I get for trying to go pee in the woods during a podcast.
Is that what you're trying to do? Nice try, man.
And I wouldn't have gotten away with it too
if it weren't for Zoom.
Oh man.
Zoom knew. Dude,
I think I just told actually.
Now they know.
All right. Well, we gotta get their attention, dude. I mean, they're about to tune out.
Of this show?
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about, man. Okay, so I want to talk about first how we met, which I remember. I don't know if you remember, but playing soccer in second grade.
Definitely. Yeah, go ahead and tell it.
All right, so this. Some people have heard this story before, but Sma and I met playing Little League sports. We met playing Little League soccer with the West Nashville Sports League. If you recall, if anyone heard Grant's show, I met Grant playing baseball in the West Nashville Sports League, which is why the group of us, when we come together, that's our name that we call ourselves, the West Nashville Sports League. Just putting that out there, just saying, in case anybody was wondering. Hopefully you'll know more about that at some point, but that's all I can say. We met in second grade playing soccer. I don't have too many memories. I just remember a bunch of – Sma's a year older than me. I remember a lot of you guys were you and all your friends were on the soccer team, and I somehow was on it too. my main memory is going to the Green Hills McDonald's for the end of the year trophy party, and I remember everybody was all outside of the play place surrounding on this like table, and Smile was attempting to eat a 20-piece nugget, and I just remember Miss Mary, his mom, had this look on her face like boys will be boys, and I just remember young Smile just scarfing down nuggets.
That look has been on her face ever since.
That look has been, but then like the interesting thing is like I think I sometimes accidentally just say that we've been friends since then. Like, oh, we've all been best friends. We all went because we all went to school together, or you and I at least went all the way through school together. But you were in a different grade. I didn't really get to know you until like high school, right?
Yeah, it was. You were a freshman in high school. I was a sophomore, and we were in band and like
I wasn't in
choir
band.
stuff together. Oh, you weren't in band yet?
No,
No, you weren't in
think
band
I
yet.
joined
Yeah,
band junior year.
That's right. But like had been like in plays together, like in middle school, and then we were in Bye Bye Birdie that year, and that's when us and Brandon, like, became a set of friends.
Yes.
And then like that next summer is when I met Gentry for the first time. That's like when I got into Chick-fil-A night. Like we used to go to kids' night at Chick-fil-A in Brentwood every week. You have been doing it for years at the time.
I had, yes. That was a part of my
Since
life.
actually being a child. But yeah, and then that's good. Who all was in the Chick-fil-A crew? I'm trying to remember it all now.
So what happened was I would get a ride home with my dad did the after school program like he would work with in middle school. So I was trying to get home earlier, and Brendan, my best friend, we live in the same neighborhood, also friends with Sma. His dad would go straight home after school, so we would ride home with him. And I think like after cross country practice or something. So this is starting in middle school. And Chick-fil-A would sell like $1 kids meals. And we would ride in the back of it. I remember we'd ride in the back of their van. They didn't have any seats. We'd just sit in the back, just like on the ground, and we'd go through the drive-thru. And he never bought me any meals, but Brendan would always ask for one more for himself. He'd be like, Dad, I want to eat 4 meals tonight. And his dad would give him like 3, and then he would like be like, man, just take some of this food. And so he'd be feeding me. And apparently it'd been going on before that because they would do it, and then they'd go to Climb Nashville and climb in like middle school.
Yeah.
And then so then I joined, and then when Brendan was old enough to drive, we started going, and because it was just like cheap, and it was like on the way home from school, and yeah, then eventually you started coming, and it became just like that was one of the only like weekly cool just like things like that's probably one of the coolest. Just like we did this every week for years, and like so consistent, like all of the homies show up as often as they can, and it really grew our friendship. And when you started coming, and just all of us becoming friends, and it was honestly a big thing that like brought like getting to meet together and eat once a week is what really kind of helped us become so close and start Joseph Marlowe, or at the time Paper Maps, which was our band. That's when
that
we
was
became.
Your band. You and
yes, that's true. That's true.
That summer, you and Grant and Gentry started Paper Maps.
14, 15, 13, 14, 12, 13. So it would have been it was 2012. I'm trying to remember. Is that before my sophomore year, before my junior year? It would have been
sophomore. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So I had been making music, just to briefly say, on my own, just on Bandcamp in middle school and freshman year. But I wanted to start a band. I was getting into folk music, like for real. And Gentry, my friend from church. And so we started a band. And actually, Grant was in the band when it started too. And then Grant just like flaked. I don't remember. I don't remember what high school Grant did, but I remember we were just like always recording, and he couldn't make it. And then we like put out the music, and we're like, yeah, Grant's not really on this. And then we started like playing gigs, and Grant couldn't make them. And then we were just like, okay, Grant's out. And Gentry and I just played as a 2-piece, guitar and me standing up playing a snare drum with my hands. which is pretty crazy in retrospect.
That's amazing. Oh,
Yeah, that really is pretty cool.
so amazing.
And then maybe you could talk about when you joined the band, because I know you remember a specific moment. And I
Yeah.
think I do, but you might remember it better than me. I'd love it if you could share it.
We were walking into your parents' house. We were like on the step, and you said specifically, "Hey Sam, would you be like grandson in the band anymore? Would you be interested in like playing some percussion stuff for us?" And I was like, "Yes, of course. This is my dream come true." And so we went out
That's
to
right.
Franklin. Went out to Franklin to busk for the first time. And I think I want to say I had a tom and a snare. And I think Ginger was playing guitar. I think you were just singing. I don't think you
I wanted
maybe
to
like
be
a shaker
free.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And then something about that, and I think we might have played one other little thing like that, but it just like the like standing percussion thing was just not Sma's thing really.
Which I can see it being your thing though, which is funny.
Yeah, it just like didn't. I don't know. It just didn't make sense for him.
Especially because you wanted being a tambourine player.
I know. It literally like ended up being the perfect thing. I should know. I should know yet. But then mandolin was the obvious thing to play, and like I played that I think like about 2 weeks in, and played it for the rest of the time that we were in the band, which is just so much fun. I mean,
oh, good gosh, dude! I'm like we could.
We had so much fun, dude.
Did you play mandolin before that, or did you just like pick up mandolin?
Yeah, I did some.
Us?
Like I had one and had like learned a few chords, but like really got to playing for Joseph Marlowe.
So we were called Paper Maps. We put out an EP. Just were you on the EP? Because I feel like no. Grant's picture was on the EP, and I think he had recorded a tiny bit. That's right, of those like Janie Lynn, like downtown Broadway and like Hillsborough Village, classic like beginner photo shoot, Dragon Park, and then so we had like a little EP, and then we got contacted by a band in Canada that was like We're Paper Maps, and they threatened like legal trouble, which like looking back, I'm pretty sure bands can just exist with the same name. I don't like. Yeah. That's so weird that they like threatened us like that, right?
We totally got. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We should have gone for it. Like, literally, like Arlie. Like I was looking at Arlie's page yesterday, and there's a different Arlie on their page. It's like, dude, they're signed to Atlantic Records, and there's like a little secondary Arlie. Anyway, so we changed our name to Joseph Marlowe and Brother John because your middle name's Joseph, Gentry's middle name is Marlowe, and my name at the time was John, I think. So, or something like that. Or I was going by Brother John. That's what it was. Before I changed my name a bunch of times. I had changed my name like so many times back then before I became Nordista Freeze.
Before you found it. Man, yeah. I remember that day. I remember the day for sure.
Wow, of Nordista?
It was, you got a new Snapchat account, and I remember I was in the Chick-fil-A parking lot and saw like Nordista Freeze has added you on Snapchat, and I had heard like we had called you that before, like that was not an absurd name to me, but then I saw you and you were like, I'm Nordista Freeze now. And
yeah, I remember saying that in high school, being like, it's Freeze now. That was my catchphrase, just trying to win people over.
Yeah.
I always tell Brendan, like, it's like, dude, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the one who just like one time was just like, what's up, Nordista Freeze? And people were always like trying to get me to explain it. And I'm like, well, we would just kind of call each other crazy stuff back then. And that one just sounded sick. And I know you went by a Cobalt Drop.
Yeah, that was my stage name in high school. Yeah. I might pull that one out one day.
That was pretty sick.
I think he's still there. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, the record that really, the crazy thing about me and Sma, for everyone listening, is that we have a fundamental shared music taste that runs deeper than it possibly could, because it's not just music that we found together. We somehow both, when we first started making music together, were like, we love the Avid Brothers, which kind of makes sense. But we also were both like, Business Up Front, Party in the Back by Family Force 5 is the best album of all time, which is just this crazy. It really, I mean, it's got to be top 3 or top 5 all time. Like whenever I make lists, I'm like, it could become number 1 as time goes on. It continues to stay steady while other albums kind of like wane. I'm like, it's still there. I
told you Country Gentleman is like in like the final scene of the Breaking Bad movie, right?
Wow, that's right.
Yeah,
dude,
it's so epic. It's like these like dirty like biker like meth cooks or something, and they're listening to Family Force 5. It's just
that band changed my life. I remember seeing them at Allen Arena at the Winter Wonder Slam with Toby Mac. Mac when, I mean, I think that was 4th grade because I stopped listening to Christian music in middle school. Is what I always remember because I got into Daft Punk in 5th grade. So Family Force 5 was like, I was only like listening to Christian music pretty much at the time. Family Force 5 just went so hard. And they just had the best like on stage and online personas where they had like an amazing live show, but then online they would do a blog every week on their MySpace, and then they would like film these
the really real show.
The really real show that they would like film this like fake kind of like a mockumentary type thing.
Yes.
And just put one out all the time while they were on tour. And they just made touring look like, I mean, that was the first time that I saw it. Was just like, this is my future. Like, I want to play festivals and like go on tour and film funny things with my friends, you know?
Yeah.
And just like be everything that is touring.
Yeah. I also just thought about the like, probably a more favorite memory of you like deciding on a thing is you developing the idea for Freeze Fest over like a period of time, because I feel like that was like you had talked towards it for like 2 years, like it was kind of like you got the idea a really really long time ago, and then it progressively like became this thing, and then you were like, yes, Freeze Fest, and you just having it.
That's right.
And that was like that's a long-term idea. Like, it's probably like 8 or 9 years old at this point.
I appreciate you saying that because I get self-conscious because I know I say so many ideas to you. And like even Freeze TV, like we had walked and we've talked about it, and now it's like finally starting, and I just like hope I'm not a person who like says things that don't happen. I mean, I'm sure I have so many ideas, a lot of them probably don't, but knowing that something like Freeze Fest could like happen. I remember I've told some people this story too sometimes. Like, I remember us being, I think for some reason it was like play practice, and we were like outside in the hallway. I just remember we were sitting outside of the hallway of the middle school, high school, which were combined for reference. And we were like, I remember being like, we first started playing shows, so we knew like 12 bands. And I was like, dude, we should have all the bands play one show. And you said, that's the freezest thing I've ever heard. And I was like, I like looking back, I think I grew more and more fond of that comment. I was never offended by it. I was like, that's awesome. But as time went on, I was like, yeah, that is the most Freeze thing. It's having every band come play. And it was like back then in high school, you had end of the year parties. So to me, it was like an end of the year party. That's always what I've thought of it as. It's like after a year of touring, all the bands should come together at the end of a year. It's not like it's like when we all celebrate. Like it almost like isn't even supposed to be like a show itself. It's just like, we made it. Like we're all here now. Let's have a bonfire, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. So what are you thinking like about Freeze Fest right now? Yeah, have you been scheming on it at all for Freeze Fest 6?
Yeah. So okay, I had one crazy idea that I almost went with that I said out loud once as a joke, and then I loved it. I was like, maybe this year's Freeze Fest still happens like it's like an online fest, but I am the only one who gets to have it. Like it's a party for me. Like everyone, like the bands get on the live stream, and it's just for me sitting here. I'm just like, all right, let's do it. And like it doesn't get streamed. Like no, it never is on the internet. And just getting bands to do that, I don't know why.
Dude, that's hilarious. I like that a lot.
I don't know where that idea even comes from in my brain. It's just like it's because I feel like people don't want to watch live stream festivals. And for all the people who are throwing live stream festivals listening to this, you know, like stay with me, like, and don't take it personally. Like, it's just when I think about personally, I oftentimes don't want to watch a live stream music fest. And in fact, I have watched zero. And I love live music. So I just or
Yeah.
maybe I don't. Maybe there's 1,000 fans who are like, no, I love this. But from my perception, like when I talk to people about it, especially I feel like there's kind of something like not quite right about it, you know? So now my idea is maybe making, I don't know. I'm thinking make it really short, whatever it is. Like only ask for people's attention for like an hour and a half at most for whatever Freeze Fest is, you know?
Yes. Like we all have to be here for one thing.
Yeah, and like maybe every band submits like a pre-recorded Freeze Fest exclusive one song performance. And
That's a really cool idea, Freeze.
and I premiere them all live. And people are like, okay, it's like an hour. I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all just the best sets.
Yeah, every band's like, hey, what's up?
Best
We're Crybaby. We're playing an acoustic song. Or like, hey, we're this solo artist playing from my bedroom. I love you guys. And everybody could just be on the Zoom call or something. I don't know. Something like that.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah.
So,
what's up?
you said that this is like set up like Rogan, right?
This is set up. I say it's Rogan style. I've only watched like very few Joe Rogan interviews, but I just the idea came from him. It's like when I dig into like we both kind of have like getting like long form interviews on YouTube, and I've heard other people talk about like, oh, Rogan has like shaped that, and I do like Rogan. Like the few interviews I've seen. So I just wanted to take his idea of like talking to people as long as they want to talk. Like I guess that's really what it is. Just basically doing long form interviews that don't, because I actually just don't like I've heard some like pretty popular podcasts where they're doing interviews and like after every answer, they'll make a 30-second answer and then like dope music will play. They'll be like, yeah, I'm really excited about this song. They're like, bam, 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 bam. And then like fades back in. They're like, read any good books lately? They're like, I read this one book. And I'm like, man, I would just want to hear them talk. Yeah, it's like, what's going on in between these things? So I don't know. Yeah, and it's also like the people I'm bringing on probably are not as going to have chances to do this anywhere else. Like, there's a lot of like DIY bands is really, you know, at the root of it, but also really anyone creative or anyone I bring on that like there are people who like want to hear them talk for a long time, but they can't find it anywhere else on the internet. So it's like finding a space for those people to get their chance to talk.
Totally, dude. I mean, some of the people you're gonna have are so crazy. I mean, they don't like. There's no way that anyone that is watching can know the like caliber of like personality that is lined up right now.
Totally, dude. Totally. I appreciate you saying that, man.
Oh yeah. But you don't have like. You don't like pass joints around.
Oh no, I don't do the thing. Yeah, like or didn't him and Post Malone just do one where they were like on acid together?
That's hilarious.
Did you hear about? I think it just came out. It was like 4 hours long. I know they were on some sort of psychedelics.
That's crazy. That's together. Really nuts.
Yeah, and he just immediately he's just like, all right, we're on shrooms right now. Like, let's do it. Just like calls it.
That's I've been wanting to do that for a long time. That's really cool. With Post Malone too. I didn't even register that. That's big.
Dude, he's so successful, man. Did you hear about his Spotify deal? I mean, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
I cannot believe that. It's I mean, you've been on you've been into him longer than I have, and you've watched a lot more than me. But it's just
I got into him right before he like became a meme. Like.
Yeah, right. That's true. That I feel that way in my recollection too. You really did.
I always felt weird about it though, because I was like, wait, is this like a thing that like I've gotten into? There's like a thing that you're not supposed to get into, you know? Like.
Totally.
I was like, oh wait, no, this is just like kind of weird timing, and I found it because he was getting more popular. Like I was one of the links in the chain to him
Right.
becoming popular enough to where people are like, oh, this is like a personality that we have an opinion about. And the
Right.
opinion that like people have about him is so crazy to me. Like it's there's so much that you could say about him that would be like really like fascinating kind of dialogue and like some really like core beliefs that he has that like I don't think everyone should like take for granted maybe, but just
Right.
like the actual like dialogue around him is so like reduced to a few like tags and like kind of like symbol words.
Right.
It's kind of a shame. Also, like people making fun of him. It's like you really there's like a limited number of things he talks about, but
Totally.
it's like 10 episodes of things that he talks about. You know, it's like there's a lot there, but it's funny that it is like in a range of things that he talks about.
Yeah, right. He's definitely says, from what I understand, he's said some things that are offensive. I don't really know. And also like, I don't know, like I got in a big debate with like my brother about him because I was like, it wasn't about whether he's like politically correct or like if he has, it wasn't about that kind like or his morals, but it was my brother's frustrated because he says that he brings people on, he doesn't challenge them enough. Like somebody will have a crazy
Yep.
conspiracy theory that's like kind of dangerous and he just encourages them. But I felt like my initial reaction to that was to push back and be like, I want the internet to just be an open place, and like Joe Rogan lifting somebody's voice up doesn't mean that it's
Yep.
true, but it does like allow it to exist. But I also understand how he thinks they're like validating him. But I don't know. My initial response to that was just like, well, I'm glad that somebody, corporate media just like doesn't allow anyone to have a voice. So if some guy who has a crazy idea can like go on this popular show and ramble for 2 hours, it's like, well, I don't know. I'm glad there's a space where we can hear these people. So
Totally, dude.
I
I
guess
mean,
it's just a
some of the
difference. Yeah.
people, I've heard on it are like, they have opened a couple of really specific doorways that have like just blown my mind, and like just kind of these whole fields that I would have never gotten into outside of them. But it like my response to your brother would be like, I say the same thing when he has like Jack Dorsey on or like some
Mm.
kind of like political figure, somebody that I don't really jive with. Like he doesn't push them hard enough either, in a sense. Like I'm kind of like, dude, Joe, you're not about this. You're like the anti thing. And then
Yeah.
like I have to sit back and be like, oh, that's the thing, is he can talk to anybody and he can like
Right.
make a conversation and figure out where he lines with them.
Yeah.
But,
I think so too. I guess that is tricky though, because yeah, he wants to be an open platform. He wants to have these long discussions, and people think he should be harder. But like, so I don't know. I go back and forth on it, and I also think about like
yeah,
myself as being a host of this. I'm like, I've already in the first few episodes had people say things. I mean, sometimes people say something and I don't agree with it, but
yeah,
I'm here to let them talk, and I'm not. I don't know. Part of this, I'm just like, well, people can draw their own conclusions. Um, but I hope that doesn't make me like dangerously like lifting ideas I don't always align with. It's just hard to know what your place is, and as a host, like because and like I said, like I feel like the main thing going on right now in our world and on the internet and on like corporate media is that voices aren't being lifted. So I feel like if too many voices are, I don't know, like I feel like it's a good thing if people can like say things and are like allowed to say how they feel. Just like it's kind of what we need right now. I guess. I don't know.
definitely, yeah. And we spend so much like concern with like what these huge, massive like public figures are saying, and like we don't have platforms to listen to people that are actually a lot more like ourselves say their ideas, and like them kind of like, especially on a level like this, like the things you can talk about are, you really can talk about so much more than someone on
Yeah.
like a Spotify like major podcast could. And it's like just with so much information stuff flying around, it's like, okay, there's no it there's nothing that I'm gonna get from anybody that I can believe ever.
Right.
Like, it's just I don't know what to do about that. But when you like pick up what somebody's putting down, you know, like having the opportunity to say, like, oh, I don't like know what I'm learning from you, but I appreciate the way that you're contextualizing the thing that you know about.
Right.
That's just always like what I am looking for. Like,
Yeah.
dude, have I told you about not watching the news?
No. Well, maybe.
Yeah,
Wait,
this is.
yeah, you're
I've
not
been on this
watching the
kick
news
for a
anymore?
second. Yeah, dude, I'm out on the news for sure.
Even like YouTube
It,
news, even like you know, fringe
yeah,
stuff that you dig.
yes. So I got into the fringe stuff for a while, which was like, um, good and like a thing that informed me more than it like polluted me, I think. But just like kind of, I've just gotten like a groove of like watching it, and I was like, wait, this like stresses me out. Like, why do I need to watch this? Like, what do I think I'm getting from this? And then like the
Whoa.
way that the news is being presented to people is
Yeah.
it's the way that I talk to children, you know, and it's the way that adults speak to people that don't understand the world yet or what's going on, and just like realizing like, oh, I'm not a baby. I don't need to listen to the people that talk to the babies, and not to say that I like understand everything or can like interpret information on my own, but I don't like need some other person to interpret immediate information, just because with like there being no context of like time, like
Yeah.
the news is like what just happened and like this like what's about to happen. It's just like this constantly not happening thing that you think is gonna like arrive somewhere eventually.
Oh, dude, so true.
There's no continuity to the like narrative itself, and so like I could have spent this last 4 years reading the story that's popping up about what Trump's doing and have known all the time something bad that's happening, or I can like pick up a book that will be released soon that talks about his entire 4 years and it's like, okay, this actually was really important, and this is something else that had long-term effects that like affect the world we're living in now, and just like generally like trying to be like, okay, I'm an adult, you're an adult, like my next door neighbor Dexter is an adult, like him telling me the news is just as good as like somebody on TV telling me the news, and there's like so much more worth learning and putting into my brain than the actual minute-to-minute news.
So
And
true,
it's been
dude.
really,
So
it's
true.
been really, really freeing, just like stiff arming that kind of stuff. My
Yeah.
friend just texted me though that I should be watching the speech that Obama just gave
Wow.
at the DNC.
I bet that would be interesting.
Yeah, I watched I did watch Clinton's speech and Michelle's speech.
Cool.
Did you get to watch any of that?
I've not watched any of that yet. I thought it was notable that Yang, I saw when his tweet went down, and I saw that he got on. Did you hear about all that?
No, I have not heard.
Dude, let me pull up his tweet. So Yang wasn't supposed to speak at the DNC convention
Yeah.
when it came out, and he said, let me see if I can find this. Oh man, he basically was like, I'm offended that I'm not doing this. And then they like got him on, from what I understand. I don't know. What
That's
is this thing
amazing.
called? The DNC speech? The
DNC convention.
convention?
Yeah.
I need one of those guys like to pull it up. Hey, pull this up. What does he say? He always has some guy. Yeah, pull this up, young
Yeah,
something.
Jamie.
Young Jamie. It's just me right now, and it's Clay is making the thumbnails. It's just us two. See, now I'm doomed. I can't even find this tweet. It's officially whatever.
It's about to be over.
Well, anyway, yeah, I thought that was really cool that he was able to just like express something and then it like actually worked. I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
And
dude.
yeah, that's interesting. Dude, I was just thinking about something that I want to say. I just had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been recently actually gone more non-political vocally, because I'm now beginning to question if a political allegiance is helpful or not. Because a few months ago, I felt it was imperative to have a political voice, and a lot of people on Instagram were telling me that, with their like click through squares. But I'm beginning to question. Actually, I first started questioning it with Dolly Parton, because my sister like did this big thing dive into Dolly Parton, and apparently Dolly has like never been political, and she's like, yeah, whenever people start talking about politics, I just turn it into a boob joke, and she said that's like her how she handles politics. And I thought there was actually something to that. I was like, I don't know, because the reason I never have gotten into it is because I want to unify people, and I know that the people that follow me, I have fans that are both parties. I have fans that are really religious and non-religious, because of where we grew up. And I'm not convinced that like these big corporately backed parties like aligning with one is going to help me. But then it's like, well, what about policy? You could argue for policies or argue like for this or that. It's like, yeah, I a few months ago I thought maybe I could do that, and I still think I can, but I'm like, I've kind of gone back and out of the public eye with it, like just because I'm still questioning, I actively am, I'm not just like it's easy to be quiet. It's just that I'm trying to figure out what the most effective thing to do is with people. And the only time actually that I'm public is that I comment on certain politicians' Instagrams, and people can like, if you'll follow me, they'll see it. So I thought that was like a cool way to like encourage people who aligned with me. But then I just thought, what's interesting is like, if I followed Donald Trump on Instagram, people would be upset with me for doing that. But why is that? Because what is it about following someone doesn't mean that I support them? But then people say, oh, well, you're giving them a platform. But am I? Like, if I hold this person with disdain, or like I'm skeptical of them, but follow them so that I can like keep up with them, who is to say that following somebody even is a supportive thing to do? You know what I mean? But because social media like gives us these numbers, the number game, and it's like, oh, I have this many followers on Instagram. We do like, it does kind of empower you. I mean, it really does. Like, but I don't know. Like, if I was a politician, if I was like a political studies person, would I not follow Joe Biden and Donald Trump and all of the other people, like, to know what's going on? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just weird that a follow is equated with a support. I don't know.
I guess it's weird that we know there's like a bunch of weird links in the chain. Like the fact that we know who other people are following, and then we make like value judgments based on it. Like, so it's like there's some other judgment that you can pass on somebody. Like, you shouldn't follow them further than not following them. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, your voice is, okay, I'm not following you. Like, if that's how we're picking sides, like, you picked your side.
Dude, but that's so dangerous, because if all you do is to show you don't support someone is not see what they're saying, then like,
that too.
That's terrifying, right? It's like, oh, I don't follow you because I don't agree with you. So people that it's like, wow, we're just gonna keep slowly becoming more and more in our own little circles, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to like be following public figures the way we do at all. I mean, I think that like there's like people have learned how to make themselves really attractive to an audience, and there's an inherent danger in that when you can kind of be like find a sense of understanding, or kind of that thing we were talking about earlier, like about when you like pick up what somebody's putting down, like when you're just vibe on kind of how someone is presenting things. Like it's kind of unfair, because it's like, okay, I'm looking for someone to say something, and then I show up online and everyone's saying everything really well. And there's just no relationship to a person with those like accounts or those names.
Yes, dude.
We're not seeing them in their everyday life. Like, and obviously not everybody like has great people to look up to in their immediate lives. That's like definitely a problem that we have, but
Sure.
being able to like offload our like sense of like not even like mentorship, but like just kind of the impressions that are being left on us, you know, that people are paying attention to. Even if it's good, the fact that it's coming from somewhere totally unconnected to like your reality, I think is like negative. And it looks so good on the surface, like all of the things that it says that it's giving to us.
Yeah.
But it, at the end of the day, is like a drug for the real thing that you need, and it's gonna not be enough ultimately.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's so true, dude. Dude, I screenshotted something crazy earlier that I want to read to you. It was from my friend. Let's see here. So one of my friends, and if they hear this, you know, I'm not taking a shot at them. But so 3 years ago on their Facebook, they wrote, "Nazis equal bad. Punching Nazis equals also bad. Fighting hatred with violence only sparks further hatred and violence. Fight hatred and violence with love and peace." And then they reshared that memory today and said, "Lol, never mind. Please punch Nazis." And I took a screenshot of that because I just thought that was, for better or for worse. I don't even know if I'm stating my opinion here. That is where we're at. Like, that culturally is like where I think we're arriving. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
I don't know. I thought there was something really noteworthy with that. I was like, wow, yeah. Like, people used to be like, no, but now we're like, yeah, you should die.
Yeah, I mean, I love that
Scary.
person said that. Like, that's probably exactly what I would have said if that come up. I mean, yeah. That's an interesting point. Like this is like making us like the protesting stuff specifically, like challenging like our understanding of like our humanity, our physical existence, you know, with like a gun that we can see, you know, like I could put my physical self on the line. Like, that's the first time I think like people our age have had that so there. Like,
Yeah. We've never had a war or something that we've had to like really think about, you know. Now,
yeah.
but now it's like, this is the first time that I'm like, wow, I could lay down my life like for this cause. Like, I see it happening in the streets in my city right now. I'm seeing this just totally insane things going down. And I don't know how healthy it is to watch or not watch closely, but like even today, I saw a video of a cop punching this girl on the beach. It made me so mad. I was just like, what is wrong with this place? Like, why are people just, why did he punch her? Just like, but then I'm also like, well, wait, the video was edited. So what if I'm wrong? It's like, and then I'm just terrified. I'm like, I'm terrified because these cops are like punching people and shooting people. And then I'm also terrified because I no longer feel like I'm in a world where I even make my own conclusions. So I'm like afraid to die for something because I'm worried that, you know, and that's kind of hard to talk about, but it's just like, I'm scared for everything. You know what I mean? I'm scared for what's making me want to do what I want to do anymore, which we've talked about a lot. Like, what makes me want to do this? What makes me want to buy this? Like, I don't know. It's just like it's so scary right now. And I feel more confused than ever, like when it comes to culture, you know?
Yeah. That whole like that's something I've just been trying to like get my hands around, but I just can't like quite fathom it yet, or like make some kind of meaningful like decision about this. Just like the sense of security that we have kind of in all like parts of our lives. Like I feel like everybody is really smart. Like, we know, we've been told all of the things that can hurt us. Like we're aware of all the potential dangers in the world everywhere. Like we know everything can go wrong. And so we make decisions based on that and kind of like subconsciously trying to limit the risk to ourselves while like maximizing like potential benefit. And I feel like that's just so ingrained in us, is like ultimately protecting ourselves just in these subconscious decisions that we're making.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really like negative way of like being in the real world, and
Yeah.
like actually getting meaning from life and learning. Just like the kid touching like the stovetop idea of kind of like having been told everything, the dangers like is good to a certain degree, but ultimately like everything also has the other side, another side of the coin. That's another thing to not do. You know, it's like, okay, well, don't move out to like the country because like you won't have any friends and like you won't be able to like
Right.
go do the things you want to do. Don't move into the city because it's really expensive and like there's no space and it like is not worth it. And kind of like just there being like those being the terms that we work within. And maybe this is like this is like only me trying to process like my psychology, but like actively saying like, okay, I'm making this like I'm trying to limit some kind of risk that's not really there. Like that's not a thing I'm scared of. I just have been taught to kind of live this way and make these decisions.
Right.
And that's what I see the people around me doing. And there's like a friction that comes in once you're like, no, I'm going to do something like a little different. Like I'm going to push through this because there's some other reason why I have to like make this decision. And
right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It really, it's almost like what they said about learning the hard way. Like when growing up, like, oh, you had to learn it the hard way. Like what you said about getting burnt or whatever. It's like, that is kind of, it does kind of come back where it's like, sometimes you do still in life have to like learn for yourself. Cause especially like what we're saying is like, you don't even know where you're getting your information anymore. And like ads and stuff, the world's just so confusing. And like to clarify, I think that in case it's, I'm not trying to make like a false equivalency. Like I think the police are out of control and I'm witnessing that every day. And when I say that I'm scared of, I don't know how to, like when I see edited things, like when I am also worried that I'm like going to use my body and then like do something and then realize that I was tricked by like another power. But that's not like an equivalency. Like I do think that we should be like making sure that people are not, that these law enforcement people aren't killing us for no reason.
I heard that.
Anyway, yeah, right. Like it is just like, I don't know. Something else that I think about when we're talking about this is something I always think about this now is Dollar General. Ever since you about Dollar General.
God! I want to know who told me about Dollar General and erase them from my history.
Because you're just so mad now?
I don't even know. I don't know if we can talk about it. Like, I don't know if it's
every time I drive past one,
morally
I'm just like,
okay. Okay, hold on. Let's like disclaimer. If you don't want to have all small towns and country roads ruined for you, like skip the next part. Okay, you want to tell them about it, Freeze?
I don't, you know way more than me, but just, I mean, we all are, and we already know some of this, but just the idea that like, when you think about what a Dollar General is, and it's like this, it's literally a general store, which you still see when you actually go to like some small towns, like when we vacation, my family always vacations in North Georgia, and we'll go to the Sunrise Market and buy soap, handmade soap, and other stuff. Dollar General is taking that concept, ruining it by just serving us terrible products that are horrible for us at an unbeatable price, like, which is what all these places do. Like,
Yes.
fast food, but they just are offering things that are unbeatably cheap, but still bad for you, but bad for you in ways you're willing to compromise because of your like economic situation. And yeah, and what I've recently realized in the last week really is terrifying is that is how powerful nostalgia is. And so what I mean is if something bad exists, it is so hard to erase it because like even if it can't just be bad, like we can't just like be like that was bad and now we're moving on because I'm like that was bad and I have incredibly warm memories. Like think you know what I mean? Like once Dollar General has existed for like 10 years, then if it like went away, people would be like, I miss Dollar General. I miss going down to the Dollar General with my uncle and
Yes.
getting Skittles. And it's like getting
Yes.
Skittles. What is a Skittle? What is a Dollar General? What are all these things? But now we're nostalgic for it. And like literally, if
Dude.
I eat a Gusher, I'm gonna be like, oh, I love Gushers. I missed Gushers. Like that was Capri Sun,
Dude.
And it's like, what is that? What are these
Oh,
things?
yes.
That's
You're
been
so
freaking me out
right about
lately.
that. That just
Yeah.
made me think about like Target. Like going to Target with my mom is a thing that I have nostalgia for. Like the idea that Target is like a broken capitalist institution built on a bed of lies is I can't like put that in my brain fully because it's overwritten by the emotions that like it's a nice place that like has red things.
Yeah, and I can go there and like it's just I like it's pretty. It's like oh well, I want to go there to buy my toilet paper. I don't know. Like yeah
Yeah, that's so and like the brands everywhere. Like it's really
yeah
gross. Like realize like what like branding is like how just like soaked in like symbology we are. Like everywhere everything like means so much more than its like physical essence. Like and the fact that
totally.
we've just like given it all away to like brands and cheap things that are like selling themselves to us, like they're actively like trying to get our attention and leave an impression on us. um it's just like it's not even a thing I'm mad about. Like it's like really cool when you realize like we work that way, but like I'm just like swimming in like we like half we like love symbols, and we're
Right.
just in overload right now because we get to like put them all around us, and even like symbols we like don't like, like a textbook brand from like when you're in high school. It's like, yeah, I don't like the memory associated with this book, but I carry it around every day, and like there's the way the like product is like I like what this means, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's what
right.
attaches us to like the past so much.
Totally, dude. Dude, you know what's did you hear about Fairlife?
Nah,
Just like
is that like a milk brand?
it's a milk brand that like is in every store. Apparently they just are incredibly unethical and it's been coming out recently. And the fact that the company is called Fair Life and they just have horrible ethics for how they treat their
Dude,
cows was just like case in point of just like how horrifying it is to like live in
no,
this like world, to live in this country and live in this
no.
world. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just call it Fair Life. That'll be the solution. It's like, and they won. Like I'm sure that like me or someone I know has like bought Fairlife and been like, yeah, that's worth the 20 extra cents to buy Fairlife. It's like, but they didn't do anything. Ah, man, we lose in that situation, bro.
We lose.
Um,
Yeah. Hey, that reminded me of a song by Jackson Brown that I was listening to today. When I was listening to Jackson Brown, like I do almost every day, like I have been for like a month and a half. Have we talked about
cool.
this really?
I, we were together at one point in the last month and a half, and you mentioned digging Jackson Brown
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah, dude. I've like made a dive into it for definitely the biggest one I've ever like gone on.
You've always been
I was
into
like,
him,
mhm.
right? But now you're like
So
diving
yeah,
deeper
so
than ever.
kind of my perspective on Jackson Brown. Like I grew up listening to him. Like he's like my dad's favorite artist. Like my brother is named after him. Um, and then when I
Wow,
kind of
Jackson's
got
named
back
after
into him in the
Jackson.
last few years. Yeah, dude, you know that? Yeah,
Wow,
straight up.
that's crazy.
Yeah, him and my mom danced to a Jackson Brown song for like their mother's son dance at his wedding. It was really
That's so sweet, man.
it was pretty beautiful. But and then like kind of gotten into him in like the last few years, but I only listened to him up. There's like 5 albums up to like 1982. Because my dad had told me like he gets like political at a certain point, and it just like isn't quite as good. And those first albums are just so good. I mean, they're just so killer.
Okay,
I was like, okay, yeah, I like Justin
check
Brown and for it. And then I was like, okay, I want to kind of dig a little more, like him being more political. Like that's what I like about his earlier records. So then the first one I listened to was Lives in the Balance. You need to listen to Lives in the Balance. Yeah. So put on the song. Let's see. What's like 3/4 of the way down that like album? Read the songs off.
For America, Soldiers of Plenty, In the Shape of Heart Candy, Lawless Avenues, Lives in the Balance, Till I Go Down, Black and White. You catch any of those?
Yeah, I did. I can't even remember. I'm gonna find this.
There's only 8 tracks on this album.
And show it to you.
Wait, I don't know if you can play it on the Zoom call,
yeah.
or we might lose like licensing or something.
Oh shoot, you're good. I'll find it and tell you. Wait, no, that's a lie, Freeze.
Is that a lie?
Wait, no, you're doing Joe Rogan thing. I get that was Joe Rogan thing.
I don't know if it's a lie or not. I don't know how this.
Where is the song?
I just don't want YouTube to like flag me down if we listen to the song or whatever. But you should text it to me.
I gotta find the song real quick.
You're good, man.
Shoot, dude. Anyways, it's like a straight up like sounds exactly like Dancing in the Dark.
Cool.
And it's like, oh, so that's like right around the time Springsteen put that song out, and like
wow,
he was diverging from being like a pop kind of icon and like taking this really like rad, like half my album is about like the government, and I'm saying words about the military and like nuclear bombs and painting pictures of children dying in my songs, and that's just so rad. And he just kept making records like every like 4 or 6 years since then, and he's like getting old, and he's like yes, the earlier stuff is really the prime, but his songwriting is so good later on that there's these like beautiful like mature love songs next to these like just I don't know, definitely like worth diving into his later stuff, especially right now, just because it like he's just putting it all out there. And it sadly is all still so relevant. Yeah,
for real.
Is there anybody that's making like really like aggressive political music that's popular right now?
Ooh, I really don't know. Like about like the things that are happening right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like.
I've heard some stuff on my like Rap Caviar that's like about Black Lives Matter. And I was like, wow, that's great. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I forget that music can. I forget how quickly music can just be made, and especially hip hop is like pretty like relevant and like able to be created pretty quickly. Me and Nathaniel were hanging out. We were watching this like there's this like Instagram live that's been posted on YouTube of an artist that he really digs. About to sneeze. Can't stop it. Wow, that's the first time I've ever sneezed on air. And he's just creating the song on Instagram Live, and he's just like, it was just the most incredible thing how quickly him and his producer just made a banger.
Yeah.
Like, it was just unbelievably cool. It's so cool, and that's what me and Nathaniel. That's what we've been doing when we get together. So we're trying to make music quickly. We haven't gone back to a song, so we've made 3. We've done 3 so far. Like, just quick turnaround.
Yeah.
What's
y'all's plan with those songs? Oh yeah.
I need to talk to him about that because we haven't really like clearly. We've just been being like, oh, we need to finish that, but I don't know. Like, I'm down to put it out. I want to put them out. I want to make songs with him and like release them. So I don't know what ads. Like, if he wants his name with him, we could do like a Nathaniel, Freeze. You know, like on Spotify, we just co-release it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be under Arlie, but maybe it'd be like Nathaniel Banks, or maybe he just wants to be the producer and give them to me. Because it is collaborative. He is more of the producer, but it is like a collaborative process. So I just I can see it either way, but ultimately, I just want to advocate that they are publicly released because I think it's fresh music. It sounds awesome, and I'm trying to put out more music and just be someone who puts out more music. I want to go back to being that kind of person. So
Yeah,
I want to make
definitely.
more. I want to make.
You
more
got to be
music.
that guy again. Yeah,
I used to be so prolific, man, but I've been so
crazy.
scared. The last, really,
Y'all,
just the
y'all
last
go
5
check out
years.
Nojo on Bandcamp. Is it
Yeah,
still on
Nojo.
Nojo?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff under Nojo, and then under Nordista Freeze, even on Bandcamp, has like a bunch of records.
Let's go.
That I've thought about putting them on Spotify, but then I think about taking off space travel and Cosmic House. Then I'm like, well, maybe it's actually just perfect because it's right when I left high school, 2015. Good, but I can't really tell back and forth. Like, on the one hand, I just want to start with Wisteria, but then I also recognize people really like the first 2 albums, and sure, and I probably doubt. I talk about this with Ethan's Room, so on. I think on his episode, and I know I've talked this with Grant all the time, but it's like, or maybe it was Grant, but it's like, I don't know. People are smart, and it's like I'm doubting people's ability to be like, oh, this was Freeze 5 years ago when he was in high school. Like, this isn't the same, and in some ways, his songwriting's not as good, but it's still interesting. And I think that they're going to be like, this was Freeze. Freeze stinks. I don't know. I'm just like ashamed. Like, I want people to just think I come out of the gate like swinging with Wisteria, and I'm insecure about all the music before it. So I don't know.
Isn't that such a shame that you have to think that way?
I think it is. I think it probably is a shame. But I don't know. Why is it a shame?
I don't know. Like, cause I would, like, it wouldn't be beyond me to make that judgment about, like, if I just were to meet you and be like, okay, that was a crazy show. Go to music, but oh, this is lame. Like it. I feel like we'll probably read the fact that other people do that because we know that we might do that same kind of thing.
Right.
Why do we do that? Like, why do we need to? Why can't we see things as like from the past or having been like an earlier version and appreciate them being like rough around the edges?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I also just think like within the like post Cosmic House, my perspective on music's as like a thing is so different now that I'm like not even interested in albums anymore. So part of the reason I want to take them down is because I feel like Wisteria kicks off like a whole new like modern perspective on what it means like release music. So not only like that music I think sounds a certain way, but it's also like heavy because it's albums. I think albums are just heavy, and I don't want to make an album right now or like have any albums out. I just want people to hear my music like a stream of just like a single and then like 3 songs, or I don't know.
That makes sense.
Keep it fresh. I don't know.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but alas, I also feel like if I ever did it, people would be upset, and ultimately, I don't want people to like. I want people to be able to listen to it if they want to. I don't know. It seems like a shame to just take something away from people for an artistic statement, but
yeah,
it seems selfish, especially with Cosmic House, because people backed. I mean, people donated like $8,000 to make that.
There's probably some like legal thing.
Yeah, right. I might actually get in legal trouble for that. Dude, I gotta say, one thing I'll mention to you tonight is that I miss touring, and I really miss touring, and nothing is as good as touring. And as optimistic as I can try to be, there are times when I feel really sad, and I just want to say it out loud to you because I work so hard to like not feel that way, and every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm a new healthy person who doesn't tour and makes a podcast and like, and reads a book, but like, I don't know, something about maybe the fall incoming. I'm just like, wow, I saw a person the other day. I was at a Love's and I was seeing these truckers like fill up their coffee at like 11 p.m. and they're walking out to their trucks, and I was just like, I want to be with them. I want to get in my truck and I just want to drive and listen to music and drink coffee until 2 a.m. I just want to be on a linear path in every sense, physically, literally, metaphorically, symbolically. Like, I want to be driving down the road purposefully, getting to the next place. I feel so stuck, and I feel that way physically, and I feel that way with my career. I just feel touring has always so tangibly been a way that I felt like I'm succeeding and I'm doing what I want to do and I'm gaining followers and making momentum. And I haven't gained a single Instagram follower since quarantine. Like I've lost 200. So it's just like, even like analytically, like I just
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just totally stuck, and it's terrible. And beyond that, and then there's just the whole part where I just miss touring. Like actually, like I just want to be playing music for people and traveling and being with you and just like all
Dude.
night hanging out.
Oh. Oh.
It's unbelievable, and it's not going to get
Yes.
better. Like it's not going to get better until Lee told me March last time I saw him. Like I can't, and then I know it's not even going to be March. It's going to be later than that. Like I'm defeated sometimes, you know?
Yeah, and just like to contextualize it, like people out there probably don't realize that like we made it, like we made it to where we wanted to be. Like we were living the life, like we had. In all, like maybe like that wasn't a story we were telling ourselves enough at the time, but like there's nothing else I could have wanted from life than doing what we're doing, and it was the tour itself was like ended, and then the future potential to do the same thing is just over. It really tough.
Yeah, we had really leveled up. Like this tour, like I always tell like Trevor and Grant, I'm like, man, I wish I could have been there because we had like leveled up. Like we were like going to green rooms for the first time in our lives. We load into a venue, which for one would be crazy because it's like a venue, and they'd be like, oh, here's a green room, and like here's some free drinks, and like here's maybe like some food, and we're like, what on earth is going on? And they're like, oh, we need you to sound check, and we're like, sound check? This is crazy. Like we had like reached, and like then later finding out that NPR was gonna come to the South by Southwest show, like, oh my gosh, like, oh, like, and then, yeah, now it's like when touring ever does open back up again, we're going back to the basement. We are going to like be playing house shows only because there's going to be no venues left, and if there are venues, there's going to be 14 bands once the floodgates open wanting to play there. So like that thing that we saw a smidge, like we saw a little sparkle of is totally gone, and that's okay. Like that's not why we got into this, but
that's exactly.
It was sick, and it was like for a moment it was sick, and now it's gone. So whatever.
Yeah, and now we get to like reimagine it, you know, and like it. The thing I keep saying is like people like we have to hear, like I have to hear music. I know that we all have to hear music, and we really cannot go much longer. So we're gonna have to start figuring out how to like hear and play music, and it's gonna look totally different. And we like, but we will figure out how to do it, and that's like inspiring and just really intimidating at the same time. Just because it's like, okay, well, all those cards that we had like stacked up are now gone, and it's tough. But that's like, when I say that to people though, then like the other thing I say, so you know, is like I'm so glad that I play with Freeze, because if there's anybody that's like equipped and will be ready to like meet that kind of need when it comes, like I know it's you. Like I know that it will materialize in your brain, and you'll like see the like over tour potential when it is there. But until then, dude.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you saying that, because that is true. Like that is the flip side, is that we are the band that will play your basement. We will sleep on the hardwood floor. We've done it, and we're going to do it again. And it's like, thank goodness that I have people like you and Grant and Trevor and Johnny and Bryce and Noah and Z, and you know, I could go on.
And Goots and Emma and Stefan.
And Goots and Emma and Stefan.
I mean, that's the
Julia.
freaking band, dude.
Yeah, that
everybody
was
else is gonna have to get their way back in, man.
For real, dude. For real. Well, yeah, those three were. So when we finished our tour mid-tour, which was crazy, yeah, we had that whole tour was Goots Guterman of Crumb Snatchers on guitar, we had Stephen Finley of solo fame in Pueblo, Colorado, on drums, and on bass we had Emma Hawkins, who runs. Well, is she involved with Rock Bottom, or I
Yeah.
guess like
Yeah.
I guess so with Max and with her band, the Orange Pippin, which are an awesome band. And then we also had
Joe and Crystal.
with Joe and Crystal, who were in that band and also help run Rock Bottom. And we had Kai Volmer, and we had Kyle Nietzsche, both doing photography. Kai and Kyle, which also, who did we have earlier on that tour? We had Charlie taking pics, and then did anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember.
No.
We had other people lined up, but I don't think anyone else ever got a chance to.
I don't think so. I mean, the last lineup with Kai and Kyle, like, I really think if you were to write all of our names down on a sheet of paper and put them into the same hat, the hat would combust. Like it, I can't like, and we just had that crew for like 5 days or something. But I mean, we're about to go to South by with them. Like if you know these people, it's like the most like. It was just the fullest van the van has ever been and will ever be.
I mean, getting out. I've been saying this a lot lately. Like getting out of the van to go to like Quick Trip or whatever. Like getting out to go to a gas station, and like this crew coming out, it was like, I felt like people were just gonna like give us free stuff. Be like, will you wear this brand? Like, I mean, it was genuinely the coolest group of people. If you've ever like seen any of these people, Emma specifically is just one of the flyest, most stylish people I've ever met. And then Goots just being incredibly tall and wearing the shortest shorts always. And like also has great style. Just like, oh my goodness, like the pictures I have from like when our car broke down somewhere like near New Orleans. Those are just some of the craziest pictures. I'm so sad that we didn't get to finish that tour with that band. And that band deserved it because they worked so hard. They literally came into town, learned my songs, and embarked on this tour. And it was just so insane. It was a real shame.
Yeah,
so
dude,
I hope we get
cats.
to tour. I hope we get to tour more with those cats. I know I didn't get to see them this weekend. I know Crumb Snatcher was filming a music video, and I think Emma came into town, but I was out of town, so I missed it.
Dude,
you know anything about this?
I forgot about it. I'm so mad. I've been beating myself up about it for like 3 days. I haven't like talked to Good since. I just forgot that it was happening, and it was like he like told me about it like a few days before. I'm so angry. Like, yeah, I haven't really dealt with that emotion yet.
Right. I'm sorry about that. That stinks.
Okay, you know, sometimes you just mess up. Sometimes you just make mistakes.
Yeah.
And they hurt.
I think you and I both have like felt that pain and just had to wallow in it before. It's just like, you're like, I was supposed to be there and I put it in my calendar, or maybe I didn't, and like I'm not there, and it stinks. Like, this is terrible. That's a hard one to live with.
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I just like the other day I had 2 things come up. I had 2 things planned for Thursday night, and I was just like, had to text one, be like, you are expecting me to be somewhere and I cannot be there, and I have failed you. And in those moments I feel horrible because I am not good at like forgiving myself, and so I always try to make myself valuable to people, and then it's like, when I literally am just a failure and have no value to offer, I'm just like, I suck. I failed you. You could talk bad about me and have this, like, that would be okay. Like, I would deserve that. Then I just feel just terrible, man. I just feel terrible. Yeah. So anyway, that's something that I'm trying to get better at. I'm trying to be like, okay, no, I messed up. I'm still a valuable person. They will forgive me. People's emotions of me don't actually go from like hatred to adoration. They actually just like feel a way about me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to be like, Smoth didn't show up. That guy, that's the final straw. I'm like, that stinks. I wish he was here. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's hard for me, though.
No, I totally feel you. I have that with like most of that in my life these days is like 2 of my D&D sessions like happening on the same night
Yeah.
is like a really difficult decision often.
Ooh.
And like I'll like commit, like half commit to one and then like try to get it all in, and then I end up being like in a less fun game, not the one I want to be at, and I'm like not enjoying it because I realize I could beat the other one.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's ruining the game for me. It's like the whole like this is dumb. But dude, I've been playing so much D&D recently.
Dude, I actually want to hear about that. Also, I have to pee really bad, and normally I wouldn't do this, but I know that since you are used to me throwing you a microphone on the fly and asking you to do things when we perform live, I feel comfortable leaving to go pee right now.
Yeah, totally.
But I won't be able to hear anything you say because it's only in my headphones.
Okay.
Actually, no, wait.
Yeah,
I think I'll be able to hear it. Okay, I just turned my monitor on.
Yeah,
but I
I know
won't
what
be
to
able
do. We're good.
All right, bro.
Alright. Just the usual. You're all crazy about Jesus, back where you're from. You get baptized in rivers where the deep water runs, and it's all right by me. I love that you believe in something you can touch, something you can see. I have never been to Memphis, but if you're there, I will pack my bags and go, even though it never rains there and the sun is always shining. But I've never met a girl like you, and I'm tired of trying. I have never been to Memphis. Well, I have never gotten there in the whole song before. D&D, let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. So, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons recently. I'm in a game with my friend Gentry Wigginton of Living Waters Brewery. He runs one. Trevor Alt of Nordista Freeze. Trevor is a member of the opposition, if you know about that. And I run a game with my friend Stone Haley, with some friends from college. And I just exist in these fantasy worlds most days of the week. But I just started my own game, and it's like a Vikings-themed campaign. And had like our first like real session this week, and it went pretty well. I'm really stoked on it. It's gonna have more like it's not really gonna have much magic in the game, but it's just gonna be more like religious kind of mysticism, and have like prophecy and like omens and like kind of look at like the spiritual aspect of the game more than the magic. And yeah, got like some of my absolute best friends playing.
Who's playing?
This game I got Jonah Turner went to high school with us, went to Harding.
Dude, that's awesome. Wow.
Yes.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, and my friend Nick Moon, who is actually a teacher at Lipscomb Academy now, our former school. Yeah, eighth grade English teacher. Yeah, and he just got married, which was a great wedding. And my friends Bryce and Emily Weeman, who are brother and sister.
Emily's in too?
Yeah, dude. She is like really freaking sharp. Like she is too smart and like too funny. So I'm kind of worried about it. And then the like ultimate one is Griffin Price, who I went to high school with, who is an animation major at SCAD now, and just is an incredible D&D player and just so funny and so creative.
Oh yeah, one of the most
got all them
people I've
playing.
ever met. Totally.
Right, and just like most of them kind of don't. No one knows everybody, so it's just so much fun, like putting them together. And I'm excited to see where it goes. If anybody out there is trying to like play D&D or wants me to come play with them, like hit me up. I need like an excuse to not do other things in my life and play D&D instead. So
this isn't the one you're working on, is it? I don't even know if the name should be publicly mentioned. I know you have a specific campaign that you've been like working on.
So, no, this is not the first voyage to Smayland. That is a different idea.
Smayland?
Yeah.
I thought it was Smaland.
It's like, I don't know what it is. I've kind of been like on Smayland recently, just because it's
like that.
more absurd, you know? I like the umlaut on the A. It's like just a, just fun.
Yeah, I like that too.
But that's coming. Sick. That's coming soon, dude. I just finished watching Lost again for the first time since I've like watched it when it aired.
Wow.
That was a mind-blowing experience, for sure.
Man, that's crazy.
Did you ever watch Lost Freeze?
No, I've never seen a single episode. I remember being over at Heath Bridges' house when the final episode was premiering. They were having a party. And everybody was like, they never concluded what happened to this person. And they were all like really troubled. And that's the only reference I've ever had. I did watch the first episode, actually. I just remembered. One time I was like, I'm going to get into this. And I still think I could. I just haven't. But I could chip away at it. I think that could be a cool like thing that could take me years to chip away at. Or maybe
totally,
dive in. I don't know.
It's kind of like it feels the most like watching like Avatar: The Last Airbender, like,
which I've never seen.
It's just oh really?
Yeah.
I need to compare something you like then. It's like Adventure Time.
Is it really?
That's a stretch. No, dude. No, I started watching it because I watched Watchmen, which is on like I paid for a month of HBO because I like overdid the free week. Right?
Yeah.
And you want to hear the worst part?
What?
That was the worst part. I paid for 2 months of HBO.
They really did that to you? They found a way to do that to you?
No, I just didn't do anything about it. I was like so mad because I was like, I'll do this later. And then I just completely forgot about it. So, and I also just haven't been, I could have been like, okay, I'm going to use this, but just haven't. So, man. I'm the idiot.
What a drag.
Yeah. But Watchmen was worth it. I'll pay $30 to watch Watchmen. It's the sickest season of a show I've ever seen.
What is that?
And you should watch it. It's like based on like a graphic novel that I have never read. But it's like by the guy who did Lost, Damon Lindelof. And it's like he uses a lot of the same kind of like narrative elements that he did in Lost. But he's just perfected them. And he just makes this one completely self-contained, perfect season that like is working across time, these multiple like timelines and like histories, and it's just a really, and then it's also like about like racial violence, and Whoa. Like the KKK plays a pretty big part. It's just like too good right now.
That's really interesting.
Definitely, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I
want to watch Academia. What's it called? My Hero Academia.
Oh, dude, I'm kind of mad at myself for what happened when I showed that to you guys.
What happened? Were we not receptive?
You were perfectly receptive, but we needed to watch the first 2 episodes. We only watched the first one, and
we would have been hooked if we had watched 2.
When we watched the second one, it like hooks into your heart, and there's no way you can escape it. And we like started watching it, and then we like had to go somewhere, and we didn't watch the second one. And I've always kind of felt bad about that since. But if you start watching that, man, My Hero Academia is like, if anyone's trying to get into anime, I have never really watched anime. Somebody got me into it, and it is so great, and just such a moving story.
Wait, that's
and really fun. And
are you not
crazy.
into more anime? I was gonna ask if you've watched something called like Haikyuu. Haikyuu?
No.
Haikyuu with a Y? Okay.
Well, I have no idea. Yeah, I thought it was the beginning of an anime phase, but it wasn't.
Well, my friend Chance Gowan, he's married to now Hannah Gowan, formerly Hannah Reed, who is my sister's old roommate in Arkansas. He runs a podcast on D&D called Basically Good. and
Mm,
he's on like
like
episode
that.
30. They do one every week, and they're like building a cool following. They do stuff on Twitch. They've got the podcast. They do like a pre-pod. It's really interesting, and it's cool seeing him do this. And but yeah, he was really trying to get. He's like really into My Hero Academia and like Haikyuu and stuff like that too. And I thought, man, I really want y'all to hang out. I feel like it'd be cool to talk to him
Yeah,
because
dude.
he's like
Sounds like my kind of
running.
guy.
He's running a campaign, but on a podcast, which I think is just a really interesting idea. And he's really excited about it because he's like D&D is like on the rise for real. He's like, it's just more popular than it ever has been, and it's only getting more popular. And so they're thinking like part of what will help them is that like they think they're ahead of the game, and that like they're going to gain popularity because we're about to just experience like a wave of D&D. Which is interesting because you've been my intro into that world, but then you keep normalizing it with like, if that's the right way to use that word, making it seem like it's not something that's just like a fringe cultural thing. You know, like before that, I'd always heard it, but it was always referred to, even if mockingly, as a nerdy thing. But
Yeah.
you being like, no, this is tight. Oh, and by the way, remember all those frat guys from college? We have a campaign together. Remember your entire band Freeze? We have a campaign together. We're going to do it on tour. And I'm just like, whoa, like literally people of all walks like do this. Like this is a thing that
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are just into. And I don't know. It's just really cool. And it's like, when I think about making art and all the ways that I like am pursuing art and I'm like commodifying my art and like hustling and like the business entrepreneurial ideas and making merchandise and selling my paintings. And then think about D&D, I'm like, although like Chance is in a sense doing this to D&D, it really is a pretty organically just like creative exercise that you're engaging in a long form version of once a week. I can't think of a more healthy, and maybe I'm idealizing it, but it seems like a really healthy thing that more people should be like thinking about doing, especially if they're addicted
Yeah.
to their phone and are just like not having a
Yeah.
creative outlet. You know what I mean? It's just like seems like a really,
Definitely.
really sick thing.
Definitely. I think it's like uh, in the future, whenever we like find like the entertainment thing that like just meets all the needs at once, it it will be like we just play D&D or some kind of like similar like role playing. Like the dream that I have is we just like everyone like has like a table or like a module like in their house, and like you show up to it,
Whoa.
and then you have like holograms of your friends or like other people that are playing this game, and you just like play the game for the night together or like do the thing,
Wow.
and you like can do it with like your real friends and your family, but like it's just we don't like need movies, or like to like read books or like go to like get drinks with our friends, we just like show up and like play the game together.
Wow. Wait, well, is there like a video game version of it? Is there, because I know there's a lot of like video game things that seem like they sound similar to me as somebody who's never really been into like fantasy culture. Are any of the
Yeah.
games World of Warcraft or like Skyrim? I know those are very different things, but like, are any of these games like supposed to be D&D video games? Are they trying to like make it into a video game?
So they like video games are like based on D&D. It's like a way of
Okay.
looking at it. It's more the relationship. D&D is like one of like the original role-playing games, and that's like I don't know much about video games. I'm like totally out of my field there, but
Yeah.
you have those kinds of that's like a form of games, and it is like kind of more like aesthetically similar. It's the same kind of process, but it's gratifying when playing a video game. But when you're doing it in real life, it's getting something totally else across. Like you're learning completely different things, and it's less gratifying in some senses. Ultimately, much more like powerful, and like you're actually learning and like growing. But
Cool.
it like is similar to it, and it like I think that's what kind of scares people away from it. I think it's more like think of it like an improv game or like a storytelling circle or something, where it's just like I don't know. It's like when it's good, it's like really loose and light and fluid, and you're like you're like sucked into it. Like that's like a thing that I don't even know what words to put on that. It's almost like I've heard someone use the term like verisimilitude for that, where you like you
cool.
realize that you're sitting at a table playing a game, but if you can be focused on the story that's being told and what's happening to your character, when you're in that zone, it's like you're somewhere else. And it's like
Right.
the longer you can kind of maintain that with a group, it changes the way that your brain works. Like I had like a 12-hour session one day with some of my friends. It was just so much fun. And afterwards, we were just like up at like 3 a.m., just like wide-eyed, just like talking about like just super out there philosophy, like huge major ideas with just like this sense of like epiphany and like being able to like articulate things we've never been able to understand before.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what else it was besides like acting like I was like this half-orc barbarian in the woods for the entire day previously.
Yeah, right. That is really cool, man. That is really
it's
special.
pretty rocking. I'm gonna get you in a game soon, dude. It's
I know, I
gonna be
know I need
legendary.
to. It's like my worst fear. In some ways it's like the last thing I'd ever do because I think okay. I think it's something I would enjoy doing, but I'm afraid of your ideas of 12-hour sessions. Like I know it's like I can only do things if I know how long they will last. And like I get in trouble for that sometimes, or sometimes I think people are frustrated by that because I'm like they're like wanting me to more like organically do something. And I'm like, so it's 12 to 2 work? And they're like, well, we'll just hang out. I'm like for like a session or anything.
Yeah.
And it's just that I have to know in my brain that something will end for me to be able to give it everything I've got. I'm too afraid of getting swept away. If you could do a session for me and like help give me that security, I really think that's the main thing that's like missing. Like I think I'd be willing to like put in and to give it a go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if you're allowed to promise me that, but if you
Definitely. That's how most stuff works.
Yeah.
That's kind of the cool thing about it is you're like,
Well, if Grant's doing a
needs to
session,
leave,
I'm sure he puts his boundaries down because that guy's the king of being like, I gotta go.
Dude loves him some boundaries. Yeah.
He's so good at that. It's frustrating. You
I know.
can't break it. Like, dude, one more round of Smash, one more whatever in like college, and he's just like, nope, goodbye, good night. Dude, are we? Is there anything to talk about with the sports league right now?
Yeah. So sports league is last I talked to the commissioner, it's like waiting to hear back from like the state about ordinances, just like with COVID stuff. I know like league play has been like suspended for a while. There is some like recreational like friendly stuff I know going on.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, commissioner's really like he's not worried about like the future and stuff. He thinks like COVID would probably ultimately be better for the league than not. So
I think so too. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I think that on the one hand, COVID is bringing the league some breakthroughs. I mean, I personally, as a player, have really had to sharpen my my bat and my racket and my what do you use in golf? Stick?
club, yeah.
Club. Yeah, dude. I can't decide whether COVID has like been good or bad for my personal artistic endeavors because I've like crossed a ton of like I've broken a ton of walls, but I miss touring so much, man. I can't. And sometimes it's like being home is good for you, but then other times being home, like Grant and I talked about this in our episode, like not writing as much as you should be because you just don't have any will to write because you're so going through it because of your situation. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just like, in some ways I feel like I'm going to leave this and be like a totally new artist and I feel really stoked, but
Yeah.
If I don't get to tour soon, I will die. And you know, like even today, this I need to just get off this group. But there's the DIY tour postings group. Like someone every few days, somebody's like, "Hey, what if I did this kind of safe touring idea?" And everybody's like, "You're an idiot. Don't tour. You are evil for wanting to tour." Like people are really mean, and I'm just like, man, like y'all, we got to stop
Dude.
this like being
Uh-huh.
so mean to each other because like we can't just do this whole black and white cancel culture thing. Like we gotta like, and that's not to say that people should be touring, but it's just like we gotta at least begin conversations because like there's gonna be a lot of nuance, especially like coming out of this thing. And if the DIY is just like I don't know, just really harsh about it, then the corporate, you know, the corporate gigs are what's gonna win. Like they're gonna be like Luke Bryan's
Dude.
distance tour, and he's gonna win. And then they're gonna be like, if you're not,
Oh,
you know what I mean? And like, really,
dude, you're so right.
they are going to have the advantage because like people trust as much as we hate them, we trust the corporations. So if the corporations, because they'll just like waste endless amount of plastic and do anything to like ensure customer service. So it's just like, oh, like I can go to the Luke Bryan social distance tour and everything will be good. But if I go to Freeze Fest, it'll probably be sketchy and not safe for my, you know, health. And I, you know, again, I'm not saying I
Yeah.
should be on tour right now, but I'm just saying I think we're soon going to come to a time when we're going to see bigger teams doing things and us not being able to. And I just think there's going to need to be we're going to start needing to have conversations, especially like
Definitely.
if we do get a vaccine and stuff. I don't know if it is going to be floodgates opening. It might be more like, and I don't know. I mean, I just have no idea, and I'm scared, but because I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not a selfish thing though. I mean, like, I, it as much as like us getting to play music is good. It's like, okay, if we do it, that will prove to other people that they can do it, and then I can hear some music. Like, it we have to figure out how to get it back in front of people, and like it doesn't like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how lame it is, you know, or how like unlike it used to be when you went to a concert. It doesn't matter at all because we will find something new. Like, and I'm also really frustrated by the lack of like creativity from the creative people on this. It's like we're and when like the alternative, you know, it's like, oh, like we found a way to like still play music, like we have like live stream, like we can still connect, like that's bull. That's like total crap because you're you're giving them Instagram now. Like you're not giving them music, you're giving them this other thing that's gonna like ruin their lives.
Yeah, and if it actually was equivalent, then why would we tour? You know what I mean? We tour for a reason. We don't tour. If you really could just replicate it, we would just replicate it. But the fact is, you have to have tour, and yeah, it's man, yeah, right. Like I don't. It's not that I think that I should be touring right now. I just wish that there was like conversations being had about if we should be touring. Right now. Even if the conclusion was always no, we shouldn't. I think that it would be okay to like open up dialogue because, like, if you're like, maybe I'm totally wrong, but like, it's like if your friend owns a bar and you're talking to him and he's like, and this person is like, yeah, you know, well, I got to keep the bar open to like pay my employees and, you know, help them like survive. Like we all just need to survive. And like, everyone's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, even though it's a little bit unsafe for them to be showing up to work. But then with us, it's like, I don't know, maybe we should tour because it's pretty important and like changing people's lives. And people are like, how dare you say that? Like, clearly what you're promoting is toxic. And it's like, why don't you tell all those people who work in the service industry and do anything and go anywhere to any office that they should stop doing that because that's unsafe too. And I get people could pick at this and say there's false equivalencies, but it's just unfair to say that we are the ones being selfish when we want to do our thing and make money and pay my employees and also maybe change people's lives. And but whenever everybody goes to a barbecue restaurant, that's totally valid. It's like, oh well, you know, they have to work. Well, we have to work too. You know what I mean? Like this is our job. I don't know. Does that make any sense at all?
I'm 100% with you.
I just feel
And
totally
it's like,
disrespected. And my own community is the one saying it. Like the DIY
Yeah.
people are the ones who are just like, no, we have to sit
Dude.
this one out. Like as if we're all privileged enough to do that. And maybe I am because I
Yeah.
live with my parents, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going.
dude, well, like, thankfully you have like a YouTube show now, and
Yeah.
you can just ask every freaking guest like what they think about touring. Like, you can be the person that other DIY people are going to, and they're like, yeah, this guy, like, he's talking to everybody about how to tour. He's like been doing it for like months. Like,
Yeah.
and you, to anyone that knows you, is like actually authoritative. Like, you're not just like a name, but like, I don't know. You definitely like are situated, especially now, to like be the platform for that conversation. I don't think you should like be scared of that at all.
You're right. Thank you. Yeah, dude, you're totally right. I should be the one opening up the conversation. Like I
Yeah.
said, maybe it will end in us just saying we can't do anything, but there has to be conversations, which goes back to what we were talking about with Rogan and all this. Just like just people should be talking about
Okay,
stuff, you know?
Yeah.
For real, dude, for real. Yeah, man. Well, I know you said you might have to go at some point.
Yeah, let's kick it. Let's
but
wrap it up there. What are you
I
saying?
I do
BS after this.
I do have a lot of other stuff I want to talk to you about. So I really hope you'll keep
man.
coming on and
Yeah.
talking with me and just like pretty frequently coming on the show. It'd be awesome to have you because we've kind of done we've talked like about a lot of cultural things and also like our story. And a lot of the other first episodes with people, I've just gone through the story. We've got a lot more of the story to share.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As well as a lot of other things to talk about. So
definitely. Well, you can have me back on next time. I have an announcement about the league from the commissioner. So
yeah, next time you have something to promote.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't even know what can I promote, dude. I'll find something to promote. And then you can have that.
I would love it if you were just always promoting, just like the most, like actually just like promoting brands, like in just a horribly like classless way. You're just like today I wanted to promote Cherry's toothpicks.
What do you think? What do you think this is? It's exactly what it is.
Oh man, you got us. They're gonna send you a little package, and they're gonna send it to your parents' house. Oh, wait. I have one more question. Are your parents gonna? Oh, never mind. Study abroad is probably canceled.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna get to move back into your parents' house.
Maybe in the spring.
That would be sick.
Could you imagine, like?
But you wouldn't move back.
Actual fun zone.
Yeah, that would be sick.
I'll probably be gone by then, dude. Yeah.
You'll be gone?
Yeah.
Gone where?
Just gone.
To be continued. That's the best place to quit. All right, let's call it. Peace out, man. Love you.
Peace, Freeze. Love you, man.